Hey, what it do, guys? Bless up. Back again for another Bible study, another video, another little word that we're going to kind of break down that I really enjoyed. This is going to be a really quick video. I was just really looking up what a couple words mean in the Hebrew and the Greek, and kind of blessed me. So I think I should title this one, How Big is Your Faith? Or something along those lines. We'll see. But we're going to be in Genesis 18, and we'll go from 9 to 14. Genesis 18, 9, and 14. And Genesis 18 really is one of my favorite scriptures in the whole Bible as far as chapters, if you will. But anyway, let's continue. Verse 9 says, where is your wife Sarah? They asked, and this was when the three angels met Abraham at the tent, or they met him coming, and then he told them to, come in and he'll refresh them. But verse 9 says, where is your wife Sarah? They asked him. And there in the tent he replied. Then one of them said, I will surely return to you about this time next year, and Sarah, your wife, will have a son. Now Sarah was listening at the entrance of the tent, which was behind him. Abraham and Sarah were already very old, and Sarah was past the age of childbearing. Excuse me. She was past the age of childbearing. Verse 12. So Sarah laughed to herself as she thought, after I am worn out and my Lord, meaning Abraham, is old, will I now have this pleasure? Verse 13. Then the Lord said to Abraham, why did Sarah laugh and say, will I really have a child now that I am old? And let's circle verse 14, because that's the power in this whole thing. Verse 14 says, is anything too hard for God? Is anything too hard for the Lord? As this one says, God said, I will return to you at the appointed time next year, and Sarah will have a son. Read that one more time, verse 14. Is anything too hard for God? Is anything too hard for the Lord? I will return to you at the appointed time next year, and Sarah will have a son. So I looked up this word in the kind of that Hebrew and Greek study Bible that I have, and the word that I got was Paw-Law. Paw-Law. That's P-L-P-A-L-A. And it is a primitive root, properly perhaps to separate or distinguish causative and make great, difficult, wonderful, astonishing things, too difficult, extraordinary, fearful, fulfilled, too great, too hard, impossible, marvelous things, works, marvels, make special things, too wonderful, deeds, wonders, wondrous, work wonders. And it says in a kind of a footnotes of this, it says a verb meaning to do something wonderful, to do something extraordinary. I'll repeat that again. To do something wonderful, to do something extraordinary or difficult. It frequently signifies the wondrous works of God, especially his deliverance and judgments. That's actually really, really amazing. And they gave an example, Exodus 3 and 20, Psalm 106 and 22, 136 and 4, Micah 7 and 8. Because God's extraordinary deeds inspire thanksgiving and praise. This Hebrew word occurs often in hymnic literature of the Bible and the Dead Sea Scrolls. While nothing is too ordinary for God, various things are said to be beyond the abilities of some individuals to do or to comprehend. However, I like this part. However, obeying God's commandments is not too difficult of a task. A rare use of this Hebrew word expresses the performance of a special vow beyond ordinary commitment. Wow. Wow. That is a lot there. A rare use of this Hebrew word expresses the performance of a special vow beyond the ordinary commitment. I don't have to really add anything to that, guys. I just want to encourage us to have big time faith, man. If we're praying about something, if we're been praying about something, if we're fasting about something, if we're giving like an offering to God on something to see something come about, if we're doing these things consistently, if we're praising God and we're hoping to see something and it lines up with His will and it's something that's not just to benefit the self, but something that also benefit God's kingdom, amen, we believe it'll happen. Sarah, she said, now I'm above the age of to conceive. That means she's no longer having a menstrual cycle. And Abraham is, in essence, too old to be doing it as well. And doing it, you know what I mean? She's saying, hey, how is this possible? But God is then coming in and saying, is anything too extraordinary? Is anything too difficult for me to do? Meaning that God doing this particular deed is an extraordinary type of blessing, extraordinary type of thing, beyond the ordinary, if you will. Keep the faith, guys. Keep the faith. Keep praying and keep believing in something that God placed on your heart, even when it looks like you personally can't bring it about. Trust that if it's God's will, that He will. Peace.